Hey everyone, and welcome to App Stories. My name is Logan Fields. I am the founder and creative director at the App Guys, and this is my friend Nathan Hirsch. Nathan, thank you for coming on to App Stories.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. Excited to be here.
Awesome. All right, let's get right into it. Let's start with, would you please tell people about the primary function and use case of your software?
So we created a tool called Simply SOP, and SOP stands for Standard Operating Procedure. It's a tool that allows you to create and update and share both video and text standard operating procedures with your virtual team. It's really designed to be one of the easiest tools out there to create processes for your business and share them. You can give your VAs view-only access, edit access, and our long-term vision is we create a software that you can share SOPs with other people, with other members of our community. We might even have a paid feature where people can buy and sell SOPs with each other. But right now it's simply designed to create and update and share SOPs with your team.
I dig that. So one thing I like about what you've done here is it's one of your expertise is SOPs. And I freaking love your emails, by the way. I don't know if I've ever told you that,
Thank you.
I'll get these emails and then we'll make these small edits to our internal processes with some of your advice. Like one thing recently that you said, at least within the last month, so people should sign up for your email list. One thing you said recently is that SOPs should include text and video in the SOPs.
Right.
And I was like, oh, well, that makes sense. And we were doing it sometimes, depending on who made the SOP. But now it's just like, okay, yeah, of course we should do video.
But here's the thing about video. The reason, so we just sold a company that was 8 figures and we had all our SOPs in text, but videos, like I said, or like you said, are way better than text. The issue with videos is they just get outdated so quickly. And with any SOP, you're going to have to update over time. And then you have to hire a video editor or you have to refilm the whole thing. So that's really one of the reasons why we built Simply SOP, because as you're recording a video, you mark steps in the software. So if you need to sub out step 2, you can do it or have your VA do it. And you're just subbing in and out that step. So it makes it very easy to update it over time.
Right. Yep. I love it. What makes sense to me too about your strategy is it's so cut down. You have the means as far as the resources, the connections and all that to build whatever you want. But nonetheless, you started with a true MVP, which is my favorite. I love it.
Right.
Amazing strategy. Because there's a million ideas. I'm sure you already mentioned some of them. I'm sure that's not even close to everything that you have on your list of stuff. But you started out so simple and you're getting in. Let's talk about actually how you started the beta. Because right now you're in beta. I think we got in for, tell me if I'm remembering right. We either got in for a small fee or for free into your beta. And then I'm assuming you're going to change that relatively soon. What's the process of how you're getting users and feedback?
Are you in Outsource school right now? I don't think so.
I am in the SOP builder.
Got it. Yeah. So you're in the free trial of the SOP builder. So we're actually building it around content. So we teach a lot of people how to hire VA. So our process for interviewing, onboarding, training, and managing, along with providing them our pre-made SOPs, which runs very nicely into the SOP builder. So people have the option. They can just get the software, Simply SOP, or if they become an Outsource School Insider, which is $1,000 a year, you get access to all of our formulas, playbooks, our hiring process, and the software is included in that. So not only are you getting taught how to make SOPs and how to hire people for those SOPs, but we're there with the software. And we've also added things like we just hired a virtual assistant who we just spent the last month making her the biggest expert in the world on Simply SOP. And now she'll actually meet with clients, give them demos, answer their questions. She'll also migrate people's SOPs. So if you have your SOPs in Google Docs and videos, you send it to her, she'll put them on the software for you. So it saves you time and it gets you more organized going forward. And none of this happened overnight, right? Like we created, like you said, the minimum viable product, which was a software that was able to break videos down into steps and add text to it. And then we added a sharing component where you could have different users and send people links. And then we hired the VA VA. And meanwhile, as our developers are building this up, because we can't really help on the development side, we can talk to them and meet with them, but they have to build it. We were building stuff up on the content side, building out the systems that we're going to give to go along with the software.
I dig it. So with your current projection strategy in place, how long do you expect it to be for you to be profitable on this?
Well, the good news is that the business is already profitable because we have about 300 members of Outsource School. So we've been selling this $1,000 a year membership to our content, and that we kind of added the software as an added bonus. So things might change. Like we might switch the membership to monthly. We might increase the price of the membership. We could do a whole bunch of other things, and we're kind of in that trial and error portion. But because we didn't just wait for the product to be 100% done before we sold it, we were selling memberships even before the software was done. The software just was a bonus in there. We were able to at least break even, but eventually become profitable along the way.
I dig it. Okay, that makes sense. I tell people, so a lot of our clients, I was telling you before we started recording, are their existing 7 or 8 figure business owners, and there's kind of 2 main use cases. We're not doing a ton of stuff for corporations. Usually it's independent business owners. 2 use cases typically. It's either they're starting a brand new company and what we build is the core product of the new company, or like you, they're building something that is an ancillary product in an existing company. And those use cases are either they're cutting man hours, which makes financial sense, or they're raising the lifetime value of their existing clients. Is that second one where you felt Simply SOP fit? Is it raises your LTVs?
Yeah, because so we Connor, my business partner, and I, we only want to run businesses that have reoccurring revenue. Like that's a hard rule. Like even if we could just sell a product one-off like 100 times, we're just not interested in that business model. It's a lot harder to scale. So with us, we have this content and stuff, and we're going to continue adding like SOPs and playbooks to the membership. But we also felt like there needed to be a little bit more. And the software provides a component where if we give them all this information and we teach them how to use the software and they get their SOPs and stuff into the software, and ideally they like the software, they'll continue to be a member going forward, which does increase the lifetime annual value. So it's all going into the same thinking. For us, it's kind of I don't want to say it's an insurance policy, but it's more of like, how do we continue to add the value so that the membership becomes a no-brainer where, hey, they paid $1,000, they got to that year, and at the end of the year, it is an absolute no-brainer for them to review for another $1,000 because at the very least, they're getting this awesome software, but they're also getting all this stuff additional on top of that.
Right. So Simply SOP it's a value add, but it's also a lead magnet for you. Right.
Yeah, we actually haven't done it, used it as a lead magnet. We've been the reason for that is not because we don't want to. It's more of we have some other lead magnets that are working very well, and we're testing out some stuff there. It can be done. We probably will do it. We're still in the early stage of building the business up. So we have been going a different direction. So up to this point.
Got it. Makes sense. Why are you doing, I'm really curious because people are doing subscriptions on a lot of softwares that they build. Now yours just happens to be the subscription is for Outsource School and the software is part of the package. I love subscriptions. I think it's like awesome. Why are you doing annual instead of monthly?
Great question. So I mentioned we might be switching to monthly. The real reason is because when we first launched Outsource School, it was just one product. It was what we called cracking the VA code, where we give people our interview, onboarding, training, and managing process, everything from the exact interview questions we asked to how our meeting templates, how to create SOPs. So when we first launched that, it would have been impossible to say, oh, by the way, that's $97 a month. Like that doesn't make any sense. So instead we sold it for $1,000, and then to transition it, as we came out with playbooks and the software, we said, hey, all those people who originally bought it at a discount, $1,000 or less, you own that first product that you bought. Like, we're not going back on our word. You own that. But in addition, we're going to give you a year free of everything else. So we just added a year membership for free on top of that. And we told them that our goal is at the end of the year to add so much value that renewing is a no-brainer. So then that we went from that to, okay, that's fine for the old customers, but for the new customers, it's going to be $1,000 a year. And now we're kind of at the point where the software is up and running, and we have the VA trained who can onboard people and migrate stuff, which we needed to do before we switched to monthly. And we're actually probably going to do a promotion in the next month where it's $97 a month to join Outsource School. And with those initial people, we also, once you go that route, we can't go back and say, oh, but we're actually changing it back to $1,000 a year. So we want to do a lot more testing before we make a pretty big move in the business.
Cool. Okay. I love it. So a lot of people, I think, when they're building something, a software especially, they get hung up on, oh, I need to do my pricing model in a way that works 5 years from now. But you're telling me, like what you did, which makes total sense to me, is you're just pivoting all the time. You start to where you can pivot up, but you didn't build it. You didn't price things in a way to where you're going to do it in 5 years that way. You priced it and then you changed it relatively quickly, and then you're going to change it again relatively quickly.
And the key is just grandfathering the old people into the old pricing. I mean, as long as you do that, you're fine. Like our original people got Outsource School for $500. Well, for life, they are locked in at $500 a year going forward. If we increase our membership to $3,000 a year, they're still locked in for that $500, and they got everything that they bought for that $500 plus a lot more. So to me, you can always change and adjust your prices, and you should be tweaking and seeing what works and what doesn't on all parts of your business, not just pricing. It could be lead magnets, it could be webinars and funnels or whatever. But the key is the people that have already committed, you don't want to screw them over. You want to grandfather them and treat them like gold, your initial customers.
I love it. How long did it take to build 1.0?
2-3 months. We're very fortunate. We have this. So we built a dev team at FreeUp, but it all revolved around one guy who we work with our Amazon business, who's really one of the co-founders of the company. He honestly doesn't get enough credit as a co-founder just because I'm the one that goes on podcasts and stuff. Yeah. And Connor's pretty well known too, but he's a little bit behind the scenes. But yeah, he always gets our products to that beta. And then when he just has too many add-ons, too many features, then we add that external dev team or internal dev team on top of him. So he spent a few months working on it.
I dig it. So that makes a lot of sense to me because you crunched it, and your MVP is really simple, but it's also intuitive, which is really important. Is you kind of were able to ride on existing momentum from a development standpoint, whereas because you didn't have to onboard a new team or anything, you're able to just say, hey, here's the new work order, basically, with someone you trust, and it got done.
Yeah, hiring developers is super risky. I mean, this is why if I was listening right now, like I would go right to you and hire you to run my dev team. I'm in a fortunate position that I have someone that I've trusted now for 7 years. And if he left me, like the first thing I'm doing is going to you and having you build my app, because me going out and trying to interview a developer to work internally, like I wouldn't even know where to begin. And I'm the hiring expert. Hiring a developer for an application is really, really hard if you are not a developer. It is a much better resource to go and find someone like you who has the reputation, has the track record, has other clients, knows what they're doing. To me, if I'm betting my entire company on this one hire, which you are, because if that hire doesn't work out, you don't have an app, then I would go with you. And I'm fortunate enough that I have someone, and then I can add you down the line.
Sure. Yeah. Well, thanks for saying that. But yeah, what you're saying is true. Unfortunately, we have people come to us at a pretty high rate that they lost a bunch of money, or they just didn't get it done from another developer, and we're having to like take things that are just half done or have to be restarted. It is. I'll tell you one of the things now we have, I mean, I'd have to look because we keep adding people. It's probably close to 30. Now that's a mix of full-time, part-time, contract work, but like 30 people we're managing. And one of our tricks is, I mean, we keep kind of tweaking our interview process and stuff, but we fire people really freaking fast now. We're not mean about it, but like if people aren't meeting it, it's like, I'm not going to play around with oh, well, like, nah, it's just gone. So that's one of the things that's made a difference for us. You seem to be really a master of creating momentum. How would you recommend a new app owner who is not technical, and let's say they're going to hire me or another team, which I recommend, don't hire an individual, hire a team if it's a sizable product. How could someone who's not technical and they're not doing the main weeds of the dev work create momentum as the leader of their company?
For me, if you're not going to be the developer, you need to be out there talking to your community, talking to your potential clients, learning their pain points, sharing your idea with as many of your ideal customers as possible, and gathering information, because it's your job as the business owner to take that information and create the long-term vision of the product. And I think that's where a lot of people go wrong with developers. They expect their developer to also understand the business side of it and make the correct business decisions, when you really need to be that person as the entrepreneur. Like our developer, he doesn't know as much about hiring or processes or what people care about and SOPs as we do. So it's up to us to get that information and not just think, oh, I know everything, but to actually talk to our clients, take that information, prioritize projects, because whenever you have an app, like there's a million different features I can add to this application. I need to figure out what are the most important features. And the only way that I know that is by actually talking to my customers and figuring out what they care about. And then we can talk to the developer and create a plan based on my information and their information, because they know, hey, is this a 3-month project, a 6-month project, which is a factor that, and then we can work together to figure out what comes first, what comes second, etc.
I dig it. That makes total sense. Okay, well, thanks. I think this is going to be helpful to a lot of future app owners. Before you go, how can people get into Outsource Cool? How can they test out the SOP builder?
Yeah, go to outsourceschool.com. You can check out Outsource School Insider, which is our membership. You can grab a free trial of Simply SOP. You can book a phone call, a demo with us right on the website, and I appreciate you having me on.
Awesome. All right. Thanks so much. Thanks everyone for watching and for listening. This has been App Stories. For more episodes, be sure to subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you listen to or watch podcasts. Thanks.
Thank you.